Good evening, guys. So a little bit of a late video tonight, simply because I've had a busy week and I only just got the patrol trooper this afternoon at about 5 o'clock. So a couple of hours break and I'll take a look at him for you guys now. Just before I start, so it is going to be a double figure review. So if you're here just for the Stormtrooper, I'm going to do him first and foremost, as Star Wars is my main line. And then I'll take a look at the awesome bounty hunter that is Deathstroke. Well, the assassin that is Deathstroke. So starting off with the Patrol Trooper, as you can see, the weathering on this guy is amazing. It looks like that he's spent some time in the streets and he's scuffed up, especially with that encounter that he has with Solo at the beginning of Star Wars Star Wars Solo, a Star Wars story, or Solo, a Star Wars story, I should say. His display stand is pretty simple. It's just a piece of road. Now, I believe that this pattern was used before with a Terminator figure. I could be wrong, but if any of you guys know, you can just comment. But I'm pretty sure that this base was used before. Nonetheless, I couldn't really picture him coming with anything else other than a simple street display stand, as he only really saw Solo go past him. He jumped on his bike and followed him. So it is the traditional metal nameplate that we love from Hot Toys, and it says Star Wars Patrol Trooper there. Now, I'll just go over his accessory tray. So that is the box. It's the same box that we get with most of our Star Wars figures, and they are starting to include these really cool bands that show the actual figure on them, not the actor like a lot of the Marvel ones and DC ones do. So it's pretty cool that we get to see the actual figure on the front of the box, and that is just that bigger picture of him. And then that is the insert that you get. Now, because it is kind of late at night here, you won't really be able to see it too much on the actual figure itself. I might take the head, I'll see if I can try and take the head off at the end to try and show you guys. But he does actually have a green visor, and it is really cool to look at. I took a photo with the flash on when I first posted the figure. The green visor definitely adds to this guy. So the accessory tray is pretty bare. But as I've said on numerous posts about this guy, the only other thing he really could have come with was his bike. It's a shame he didn't, but hey, if he came with his bike, it would have been $300 more, probably. They would have probably did the same thing as Sideshow and charged us $300 for the speeder bike. So he does come with a fist hand, another fist hand. I believe that this hand here is used for holding the baton. A relaxed hand which was on the figure. The only thing I've done is put the baton on him, given him the blaster, and yeah, swap the hands out. Other than that, he is exactly the way he came out of the box. So that's the other relaxed hand. And then this is, the fist that I started with. The display stand would sit here. There is the cradle piece for plugging into the display stand. But as you can see, this guy stands magnificently on his own. That is where the blaster is, and that is where the baton is. So pretty bare bones stuff with this guy. But as I said, I don't particularly mind it because there isn't a lot he could have come with. Now you can see that I really do like this cop look, the white and the black. You can see that damage continues around. So this guy's had a pretty bad fall. You can, there we go. You can see that green as I tilt it up to the light. That is a very nice visor and I love it. It gives you that motorbike cop of a feel that this guy is supposed to be. Because as we saw him in the film, he was essentially a traffic cop. There's his thermal detonator, non-removable on this piece, which is, I suppose some people wouldn't really like it, but I prefer it when they're fixed, because then you aren't spending heaps of time putting it back in. You can see his shoes and his shin guards are also quite dirty and roughed up. Very cool. The fabric on the pants, it reminds me of like tracksuit pants. So very basic material, but it does the job. It's extremely posable. There is some padding underneath it though, which makes it feel durable. But this simply reminds me of track pants. And there you can see, if I pull it out, the baton. And that just slides in there. So I've got him kind of doing a stop pose. And again, you can see lots of dirt on... you can see lots of dirt on his gloves. Detailing on the gauntlets. There's that green of the visor again. This guy is amazing. I got him for $315 because I picked him up when Pop Culture did their 10%. I believe he is $350 currently at Pop Culture. Or if you hit up Anime Exchange or AEX, I believe he might be a little bit cheaper. I think he might be $340-ish. He could even be a little bit cheaper than $340, but I'm not 100% sure. I haven't checked the pricing out on him. So his arms are a little bit restricted as this is all rubber. It's like a rubbery vinyl material. I wouldn't have any concerns about it tearing or anything. It does seem pretty durable, especially on the stop hand. The only thing is that if you leave it bent for too long, you can see that it is going to crease or bunch up. So I've only had him, like I said, I've only had him in that pose for about... so I've had him like that for about 3.5 hours, and you can see that it has bunched up. I could probably get it to fix, and then the stop arm, you can see that it's bunched up there as well. As I said, it is unfortunate that they do use these type of materials, but it's nowhere near as hard to pose as the First Order guys. Zooming right into his helmet. This is one great helmet. Let's see if I can get a close-up of that green. If it will let me. So he is a very cool figure to have. And as I said, his knees are going to be very poseable. Let's see if I can... So you can see that without even really trying, I can get him to I can get him to do that, and I imagine that his legs will move up. As he is obviously a brand new figure, the joints are still quite stiff, so it'll take quite a bit to lift his legs up. But I will eventually probably put this guy on a speeder bike with the Return of the Jedi Scout Trooper from Sideshow, just because I think these guys really do belong on bikes, which, like I said, it is unfortunate they didn't make the bike, but I can understand why, because if they made the bike, he would have been a lot more expensive. So just the back of the rest of the costume, you can see that he does have a bit of a backpack, nothing near as complex as the Snowtroopers, but it's still there. And again, there's excellent detailing on him. So overall, a pretty cool Stormtrooper. I have got the Return of the Jedi 328th Legion, I think the Emperor calls them, Stormtroopers on order. I don't know when they are coming in with Pop Culture. They've stuffed up the listing and it still says 31st of May. So I'm not 100% sure when they're coming in. But I'll probably pull out a lot of Stormtroopers when I do those. I'll pull out the early Sideshow ones, the first Hot Toys ones, probably a Sand Trooper maybe, the Rogue One Trooper. I'll bring out the whole garrison, because that'll be a really good Stormtrooper showcase opportunity. I am all for Stormtroopers. The more Stormtroopers, the better. So overall, this guy does have a little bit of a hefty price to him. As I did say, he was $315, but the standard recommended retail price is $349. I know that a few people have ordered from Senmaru, and they got theirs for $280, which is a pretty sweet deal. But I was happy to pay. With Stormtroopers these days, I'm pretty happy so long as they're under $350. $330 is my happy medium for Stormtroopers. But, and the exclusives obviously are a little bit more than that. Well, within reason, a little bit more than that. I can confirm that we should have a very special look at a figure in about 2 to 3 weeks. Not going to promise the exact timing. I'm going to say 3 weeks, hopefully, but we will see. Very, very excited for that one. I wasn't 100% sure if it was going to happen, but I got confirmation this morning that it should definitely be happening. So, this is the Patrol Trooper. Like I said, baton, exact same pistol as your Scout Trooper, and display stand with a couple of hands. Other than that, not too much to this guy, but he doesn't really use anything in the film, so he doesn't really need anything. Alright, so this is, if you're only here for the Star Wars figure, this is, I suppose, where you will leave us, and we're going to take a look at the Arkham Origins Deathstroke. Alright, so looking at his box, we get a beautiful Arkham Origins Lego Batman, and we get a look at Slade Wilson Deathstroke VGM 30. So straight away, this guy is awesome. I was a little bit skeptical when I ordered this guy. I did order him from Senmaru, and he was $280, which is insane because Pop Culture have this guy listed at $390. I could not imagine paying $390 for this. Not the fact that it's I'm not saying it's a bad figure, it's an excellent figure, but I'm just saying that, like, there's a huge gap between ordering with different retailers. but Hot Toys are definitely on the price rise. So recommended retail price of $390, and I did not pay anywhere near that, thank God. So he has a lot of battle damage to him. You can see his eye there. Now going off that, he is a lot younger than we're used to seeing him. This is during a first encounter with Batman, when Batman was only Batman for a year. So the storyline is that Black Mask is paying $1 million for Batman's execution, and Deathstroke is one of the guys that wants to claim the bounty. So again, that beautiful metal nameplate, Arkham Origins Deathstroke, and we get an excellent picture of him from the video game on the display stand. I really do like these display stands with the faces, as they remind me of how they did the Last Jedi ones, which were also done very well. So this guy does have a lot of accessories, unlike our Stormtrooper. So he has, I believe it's a Desert Eagle, or a D50. My American gun terminology isn't that great. We have, it's been ages since I've played this game. It was an excellent game, but I honestly, it's been ages since I've played it, so I cannot remember all the gadgets. A grappling hook type of thing by the look of it. He does actually have a wire in there. The grenades. I'll talk about these pieces in a minute. They are for his staff. And then you get a variety of different hands. A couple for holding the sword. A couple for, is that just the fist? That's just the fist. He does have a couple of relaxed hands as well. He does have a trigger finger for each hand. I think, fist. Then we get the two relaxed. So he has a good assortment of accessories just there, but we are not finished. The bandolier strap is actually not on him when you get him. It is located in this part of the tray. There is his sword, for great detailed handle. Unfortunately, I wish this sword was die-cast. We're getting a lot more die-cast weapons and things from Hot Toys, so it's a shame that they didn't take the opportunity to make the sword die-cast. This chest piece, I reckon it's going to look a little weird. I haven't actually swapped it out yet. But what happens is, you've got the big chest piece and you've got the little one. The little one allows him to get more motion in his arms with the sword. It allows him to bring his arms right forward. It just obviously looks a little smaller, but the size is actually going to be, the fact that it's smaller is actually going to be hidden because you're supposed to bring his arms right forward. So his arms actually cover up where the bigger one would be. So you will know that it's smaller, but people looking at your figure won't, because the arms will be covering up the fact that it's a small chest plate. And then we have this staff. Now, I couldn't actually do this, and I didn't want to break it because it seemed to have taken quite a bit of force. Again, this staff isn't die-cast, but you can see that it is quite long. It is taller than him, and it is definitely taller than our Stormtrooper. Now, what you can do is you can actually pull these poles out and have it be unextended, and that's where those come in. So you pull these rods out and you clip those little pegs in, and it's a shortened or condensed version of the staff. And of course we get the instructions, and that's where his name display base would be. And then we have the sheath for the sword, and that just plugs into his back. And I will turn that around now before I forget. So there is actually a little hole behind the strap there, and it just plugs in. which is quite cool. And now there is a lot of weight to this guy. A lot of weight. So that battle damage continues all the way down. You can see he's taken a lot of damage with his fights with Batman. You can see the holster. The only thing I wish they gave us was an unmasked head sculpt, but I understand why they didn't, because I don't think he actually gets unmasked in Origins. The only reason why I was skeptical getting this guy was because, like, I've read a few comics. I haven't read a lot, and it's the same with Marvel. Whenever, like, somebody name drops a reference or something in a Marvel movie, I'll go, oh, yep, I know that. But I won't know, like, the full story where that leads. So, for example, the after credit scene for Spider-Man Homecoming, I knew the reference for that straight away. But the wider story of that reference, I never read. Simply for the fact that I chose figures over comic books. So it was either one or the other growing up. But I was more than happy with the action figures. So this guy does have some awesome articulation. You can see that his arms are double jointed, so he can reach up, and he can, as I said, he can't really do it with the bigger chest piece on. You can see that it goes about that far, and then you can have it like that. But if you take this bigger chest piece off, his arms can actually, I believe they can go all the way up. He also has the, I suppose, ninja scarf, or ninja scarf type thing. There is wires in that. I've heard of people having the wire poke out, but they are fully posable. I just haven't had a play around with them at all. You can see he has lots of different pouches and whatnot on him. That damage continues around his back. Those shotgun shells can actually be removed, though I don't recommend so, because otherwise you might lose them. And you do see that chainmail. But chainmail is only a vinyl material, I believe. Yeah. Oh, no, this is more of a... This one here feels more of a vinyl. This is more of a, again, that tracksuit material. Just with a chainmail pattern. So that's quite cool. There is a lot of posability in this guy. It's just hard to show that off one-handed, unfortunately. But while I haven't got the cradle part, I do recommend it, simply because he is such a heavy figure. He can get quite top-heavy and topple. But overall, and I will put these two together just so you can see how much taller than the Stormtrooper Slade Wilson is. But overall, two outstanding figures by Hot Toys. In about a week, I'm hoping no longer than 2 weeks, I should have the Sideshow Darth Maul. It just depends on how long it takes for that to ship out to me. The postage is going to be crazy on that guy. I'm expecting it to be $100 Australian. We will see. The only reason why I'm getting it from Sideshow was because I really wanted the little holographic Darth Maul piece. Other than that, I would definitely recommend you go local or somewhere else. I've also seen a fair few people asking about where to get Hot Toys and stuff from. If you're in Australia, I would definitely go local. Yes, there are a lot of Hong Kong sellers that get things early. Your only issue with that is you are going to pay a lot more for the figures. I had a look at the people that advertise Toys Wonderland HK, and Darth Maul with the Sith Speeder was 750 Australian posted. and like with $100 postage, I'm looking at $630, $640 tops. Maybe if I'm very unlucky and the postage goes to $120, I might be looking at $670 max. They're very rough currency exchange rate calculations, but it should be nowhere near that much. Again, I had a look at Count Dooku. My Count Dooku is going to be coming from Samaru for $280 again. That seems to be Samaru's general price, was their general price. A lot of the newer Hot Toys, especially the Solo Cameo Darth Maul, are really pushing $330 with the huge Singapore discount. But to get the first batch of Count Dooku was 400 Australian. And I think even the brand new Solo Darth Maul was like $500 or something crazy. That's probably over-exaggerating, but the Dooku was around 400 Australian, and I'm paying 280. But again, if you want to get the figures early and you don't have a problem paying the higher prices, that's fine. But as you can see, I waited and I saved a good amount of money. Between these two figures, I probably saved $125, maybe a little bit more. So I reckon throughout the whole year, I've probably saved close to the price of a whole figure, if not more. My Kylo Ren was quite cheap. My Episode 8 Leia was quite cheap. My Royal Guards were a decent price. So I've been able to save a fair bit by waiting. Anyway, guys, this has been the Arkham Knight and Patrol Trooper. I will have Darth Maul hopefully in a couple of weeks. As far as the Black Series and Vintage Collection goes, I haven't heard of anything shipping out lately, but as soon as I do, I will let you know. And that special figure is probably about 3 weeks away. Thanks for watching, guys.